What's up, guys? It's me, it's that ERIC. Welcome to the spectacular 20th edition of Raw's EBar. I am the People's co-host, Eric Barnes. Like I said, it's Raw's EBar, so let's get to it. Alright, so the show opened with Shane and Stephanie coming out, and they're ready to announce the new general managers for Raw and SmackDown, or SmackDown Live, as it's now called. For some reason, you know, they don't have to call Raw Live. Whatever. Anyway, so Stephanie went first, and she announced Mick Foley. Really? I got to say, even with Mick's explanations about the ember burning and turning into a fire, and you know, thinking about the Attitude Era, which this won't be, it still didn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. Stephanie and Mick Foley never got along. Seemed like they specifically hated each other for any interaction that they've ever had. So I just don't understand why Stephanie's short list of people to take the general manager job would include Mick Foley on her side. I just don't get it. And on top of not making sense with any previous storyline, it also doesn't make sense because considering that Stephanie is a heel, wouldn't she want a heel general manager as well so that they would agree on things, on decisions? It's going to be a hard sell for me that Foley and Stephanie are in agreement when it comes to how to run Raw. But hey, I guess you got to advertise Holy Foley somehow.
I thought everybody's dad looked like a deranged serial killer.
And then, of course, Shane went on to announce his general manager, which we all already knew because WWE is WWE, and they spoiled it for us last week after Raw on the WWE app. It was, of course, Daniel Bryan, and honestly, I thought it was great to see him back. I know a lot of people have been iffy about Daniel Bryan coming back and in this role, but I thought it was great. I love Daniel Bryan. You know, people like to ask me sometimes who my favorite stars are, and, you know, currently, and until he had to retire, Bryan was right at the top of the list. You know, his promos weren't always the best, but they were serviceable, they got the job done, and in my opinion, his wrestling made up for any lack of mic skills that he might have had. I just gotta say, regardless, the crowd was completely on fire for Bryan, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in his new role. So, for the first match on Raw, we got Sami Zayn and Cesaro taking on Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. As usual, these four put on a great match with Zayn and Cesaro getting the win. And that makes it twice now that Sami Zayn has gotten a clean pinfall over Chris Jericho. So, congratulations, Sami Zayn. There's no doubt in my mind that tonight's draft, Zayn and Owens, they're not going to end up on the same brand. So, it was good to see them in the ring together for what I'm assuming to be the last time, at least for a while, on Raw. And I'm still looking forward to their match at Battleground. As for Cesaro, I just hope that the draft brings him the push that he deserves. So while the League of Nations aren't technically together anymore, most of them are still used in a very similar way, just separately. That being losing to up-and-comers, or just losing in general. On Raw, we saw Darren Young defeat Alberto Del Rio, a former 4-time world champion, on Darren's way to an Intercontinental title match with The Miz at Battleground. You know, I understand that Miz was up on the apron and caused confusion for both competitors, but still, I almost feel a little bit bad for Alberto Del Rio. Almost. Okay, and in one of the most entertaining segments of the night, at least in my opinion, we had a 12-man tag match featuring Cena teaming up with Enzo, Cass, and The New Day to take on the team of The Club and the Wyatt family. I really enjoyed the promos from everybody before the match began. Enzo, I thought, had some of his best puns in weeks. You know, a lot of times it's hit and miss. With the Enzo puns, but I thought he did great on this Monday. You know, and you can't forget about the New Day. You know, last night on Raw, they proved that you can't get away from them. They're all over social media, and they're even in people's phones. But now they've invaded my wrestling show.
Considering the fact that I am a level 21, yes, level 21 Pokemon Go trainer.
Yes, that's right, guys. The Pokemon are here. Oh, Jesus! So anyway, I enjoyed this match a lot. I thought that it stayed exciting throughout, even though it was a very long match, especially for Raw. And it did its job. It got me pretty hyped for the matches coming up at Battleground. I also have to say that it was very nice to see New Day back to form, back to normal. Last week, because they aired that compound segment on Raw and on SmackDown. So there was like no real New Day, no having them come out with Big E shouting and everything. And I missed it, honestly. So I know it was only for a week, but it was definitely good to see it again. Xavier, I guess he's got over most of his nervousness at this point when it comes to the Wyatts. And in the end, it looks like the club and the Wyatts won because Enzo accidentally punched on Cena. Even though, I'm not sure really that even affected the ending since Enzo was the legal man and he sent John Cena out. I guess Cena was too dazed to come in and break up the count, even though that punch didn't look too powerful. Regardless, that's what happened. John Cena knocked out of the ring. Enzo got pinned after a Styles Clash. There was a miscommunication with the good guys because they're not an actual team, you see. And also, on Raw, they decided to have the exact match that's advertised for Battleground, except on Raw, with the tag team of Charlotte and Dana Brooke taking on Sasha, and tonight it was Becky Lynch. Who knows who it's going to be at Battleground, you know? It wasn't a bad match. Sasha and Becky won after interference from Natalya. Honestly, as I was watching, I had completely forgotten that the Becky and Natalya match was even happening, but this was a good reminder, so I'm glad that happened. I really don't find the tag match at Battleground necessary, but I do understand that they're probably wanting to hold off on the one-on-one between Charlotte and Sasha for SummerSlam. So, this should be a good match at Battleground, especially if Sasha's partner ends up being who I think is going to be.
I feel like there's something here. There's definitely something behind me.
Who wouldn't want a Bayley hug? All right, and in the main event, we had Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship. I thought this match was terrific, but of course, it had that insanity of an ending that it had. So, I said last week that I didn't figure that there was any way that Rollins was walking out of Raw and into Battleground with the WWE Championship, and by the end of the show, it seemed like I had been proven wrong, because as we saw at the end of Raw, they announced, hey, Seth Rollins is the new champion. Well, Stephanie did, at least. And that would have been fine. I don't mind being wrong. That means that it's less predictable, even though those would have been a very iffy finish regardless. But, you got to take into consideration the fact that there was another 5 minutes of Raw on the WWE Network. It didn't make any sense. In my mind, I imagine the WWE was thinking that SmackDown is going to do huge numbers tonight, at least, comparing to what they've done recently, they're going to have much larger numbers. And with the draft on there, on top of everything, they'll probably do better than Raw. So I'm guessing they were thinking, oh, we're going to have good ratings on SmackDown. Let's use that opportunity to show people how important it is to have the WWE Network. And, while they have the most possible eyes on the product, let's show them, hey, get the WWE Network. It's only $9.99, and it's very important because obviously all these people miss this because you didn't have it. I don't know. That being said, I thought it was an idiotic move. Stupid idiot move. Considering the fact that I sit through 3 hours of Raw, the least they could do is finish the show that I'm watching on the channel that I'm watching it at. That would be like an episode of, Gotham or something on Fox having a weird cliffhanger ending, but you can see even more for 5 more minutes if you switch over to CBS. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It aggravated me. It upset me in my heart region. You know, I generally don't just immediately turn on WWE Network right after Raw. You know what I mean? I'm not programmed to do that. So, if it had been me, I just would have ended the show with confusion as to who the real champion was, and left that to be the question going into SmackDown. But now I guess Ambrose is still the champion, and they're just going to have a rematch. So, whatever, that's fine. You know, we can't forget, it is the WWE. Alright guys, that's all I've got for you this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video at all. Tell your friends. If you don't, that's cool too. You know, I'm trying to decide how to deal with SmackDown now. You know, with them being separate brands, I don't know if I should do a SmackDown review. We do the Scoop every week. That's on Wednesdays, so it might be kind of redundant to do a review and then talk about it on the Scoop. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do at this point. So if you have any ideas, let me know. You know, I'll take everything into consideration. Anyway, again, thanks for watching, and other than that, as usual, I'll see you guys next week.
There ain't no